Oh yeah, you know what time it is. Some of that NGNWR back in action. I'm your excellent host, The Brand. No gimmicks needed wrestling radio. Live and on the air. We're cooking, we're booking. We're Superfly Jimmy Snooker. That's right. Stuff's going down. Got a lot of talk about the show on the show today, excuse me. Lots to talk about it. Summerslam week. We're going to be basically talking about that and all kinds of other junk. So stay tuned. It's going to be awesome. You're listening to NGNWR. Here we go. All right, here we go. NGNWR on the air. Like I said during the intro, I'm your excellent host, The Brand, coming at you on this fine evening here. Whatever time you're listening to me on, it don't matter. You might be listening to me, while you're taking a Duke, while you're driving down the road, maybe on the way to work, or maybe you're on a trip somewhere, or maybe you're just hanging out doing something, just hanging out around the house, chilling like I'm doing right now, recording the show, bringing this to y'all. So wherever you are, I want to thank you for joining me. Whoever listens to this thing, hopefully we're gaining viewers by the week. Millions and millions, or dozens and dozens, something like that. Listening to good old NGNWR here. No gimmicks needed wrestling radio. We talk about a lot of wrestling. We play some music. We talk about other stuff. And the Brand is going to be flying solo today, unfortunately. Usually try to have somebody on here guesting with me, doing something. But this week it was not to be. We're still trying to figure out a certain system to where I can have guests over the phone and be able to record them legibly so that everyone can hear it. I'm working on that, guys. All the guests, all the people that want to come back on, please bear with me. I am on the right track as far as trying to figure out all that stuff. But in the meantime, I'm just going to fly solo today and try to do my best, try to talk about some stuff with you. Before I get started on the wrestling front here, I do want to take a second to go on a little bit of a personal rant. It was actually my little son's first birthday yesterday, and just awesome. I can't believe he's a year old. It seems like just yesterday, me and my lovely wife were in the hospital, expecting his arrival, and then getting his arrival, and everything else, and then bringing him home, and it's just been, wow. You blink and a year goes by. It's really amazing how things happen, but he had a great birthday, definitely a huge milestone in my life. My first son, celebrating his first birthday, which was awesome. He got lots of cool toys and stuff like that. You look at stuffed animals. You look at of course the notorious, the toys that make the noise. There's plenty of that. I think probably his favorite thing, though, was the guitar that he got. He got himself a little guitar that I think I believe his grandma got for him. Anyway, my wife's over here looking at me like, why are you talking about all this personal stuff on the radio? But he got the guitar for his birthday, nonetheless. And I tell you what, he loves that thing. You know, I play to him all the time here in the house. You know, play almost every single day to him, play him songs and sing badly. You know, but I do my best. I think he loves me for it. So definitely awesome. He's saying more and more words by the day. Just you know, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Can't complain in that area of my life. Everything's great. Kids, wife, white picket fences. That's what the brand's all about, you know, as far as that goes. Now, moving forward here, before we get in too deep, I want to kind of just let you know what is on the agenda for today. I'm going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to get into Raw just a little bit, not, you know, gonna do like a whole show breakdown like usual. I'm going to get into that. You know, it is Summerslam week, so of course that's kind of the theme I've set for this week is SummerSlam. I'm going to get into some of my favorite SummerSlam memories that I have going back and looking at and remembering some of the great matches, some of the things that stand out in my mind as far as throughout the years and the cards that they've put together. Because it is, for all intents and purposes, supposed to be the second biggest WWE show or pay-per-view of the year or event or whatever you're supposed to call them now that they're on the network. It's supposed to be the second biggest show of the year, so big things are going on. 3 sold-out nights at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, which, you know, of course, they're having the NXT show on Saturday night, which is going to be really interesting atmosphere, seeing NXT in a big arena like that. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Across. I don't think it could be in any better place, though, as far as the heart of New York and some of those hardcore WWE, you know, New York fans are going to be there, you know, tearing down the house, you know, letting people have it, of course. So it'll really be interesting to see how that comes across. And then, of course, they have SummerSlam on Sunday night there, and then apparently Monday Night Raw in the same arena on Monday night as well. So very, very interesting to say the least. You know, I would think, I wonder at some point, this is something I've been thinking about, you know, when prepping for this show. You know, at one point, is SummerSlam going to go to like a stadium format? It seems like this year might have been a good year to try to test that out in that New York market. Of course, one reason that they hadn't done that before, I think, was because SummerSlam, at least the last, you know, however many years, has been mainly held in Los Angeles. It was the first year that it's been out of LA for quite some time. You know, maybe want to look back and see exactly where all the locations were and get you an exact on that. But it's the first time it's been out of LA for a long time, so you would have thought that you know, maybe they would have tried to test out that stadium market this year, but hasn't happened. Yeah, it's been in LA since 2009 apparently, so it's actually not that long. I thought that it was a lot longer than that. I thought we were talking like the early 2000s. But apparently not. 2009 all the way through 2014. So a good, you know, 5-year residency having SummerSlam in LA, which the LA crowd is a whole nother thing. Sometimes it's kind of hit and miss as far as who's out there. It's definitely kind of a strange area as far as that goes. The West Coast is just such a wasteland, and that's an unfortunate thing too when it really gets down to it. Just how much wrestling used to be a stronghold out here, and even WWE. Having trouble. They come to Oregon maybe once a year, once every couple years. They've been hitting it a little bit more recently because it's been a stronger market here recently. But man, it's been the West Coast, and the West Coast hurts for the indie scene too. I talked about that with Zach Winters a few weeks back. How it's just kind of it's really desolate out here for good promotions, and there's really not a lot of fans to support any promotions that get up and running. So it's hard for one to even get good and start developing guys and start bringing in talent, and because none of them can get off the ground. That's kind of my quick little 2 cents on that. But anyway, before I get too off the subject, we're talking about SummerSlam and the 3 sold-out nights at the Barclays Center. Of course, there's a big build-up Raw for this show. Raw was pretty interesting. I will admit to myself right now that I missed most of it. My DVR has been messing up. I've missed like the last 3 episodes of Tough Enough, and last week it just decides that it wasn't going to record Monday Night Raw for some reason. So something's going on there with the old DirecTV DVR. I got to get to the bottom of that, but I did catch, I think, about the last hour of Raw, and so instead of just going over the results and just kind of recapping them and acting like I know what happened, I'll talk about what I did see, which during that last hour, one of the things that stood out to me was the video package that they did for the Stardust match coming up at SummerSlam. You got Stardust and Barrett against Neville and Steven Arnell, Green Arrow, whatever. And I just thought it was really cool the way they did the video packaging with making it look like a comic book, and just kind of like telling the story in like a quick like comic format. I just thought it was very well done, and it's just a testament to Cody Rhodes and the Stardust character. I think I'm a big fan of Cody altogether. I think he's always done awesome work, dating back to when he was doing the whole thing with the mask, and I thought that was brilliant. He always comes up with stuff. He seems like one of those guys that, if it was up to the WWE creative team, no one would ever have anything for him. And he probably would have been future endeavored by now if it wasn't for some of these ideas that he's done. And I know that they've got to be his ideas, because they're basically, they're very comic book based, which, we all, if you've read any interview with Cody Rhodes or anything, or seen anything where he's just talked out of character, you'll know that he's a huge nerd and into, all the comic books and video games and, yada, yada, yada. So, I think it's cool. It's just really cool to see a guy motivated enough to bring something like that to the table for the show. And it's definitely very, very interesting. Other than that, from what I caught, though, I think it just seemed like it wasn't a great go-home show. WWE has been making a habit out of doing that recently, unfortunately, for better or for worse. You know, it's really hard to write that really awesome, climactic, leave you on the verge of your seat for the go-home show. You know, it's tough to do. It's really a lost art form, I would say. Even some of the biggest pay-per-views have had pretty weak go-homes. And I think sometimes it's, you know, maybe that's part of the psychology of it, is you kind of hit the brakes a little bit before you hit your nitro booster and you kick into overdrive there at the pay-per-view. That's kind of interesting. You know, I've never really heard it explained like that by anybody. But hey, you know, I think there was just a lot more that they, you know, potentially could have done with the whole Paul Heyman and Undertaker and all that, and the build up for some of these matches, at least from what I saw. So there you have it. You know, that's all I really get into as far as Raw goes. I don't want to ramble on too much. You know, since I'm by myself, I want to keep the segments kind of short, make them kind of snappy, go into some music. That way you can enjoy that, and it can give me kind of some filler time to figure out what the hell I'm going to talk about next. Even though I actually know what I'm going to talk about next. After we get back from break, I'm going to talk about my favorite Summerslam memories growing up. I'm going to sit here and do a little bit of marinating. You know what I mean? A little bit of reminiscing, and talk about some of my favorite SummerSlam memories with y'all. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump to a song real quick. You're listening to NGNWR, No Gimmicks Needed Radio. I'm your excellent host, The Brand, and guess what? We'll be right back. Boy!
What makes you get up day after day? The world hates you more and more, you cannot relate. The body of a goddess abused in hell. You get your consultation, you're well, I can tell. Slam. Body slam, I slam. Body slam, I slam. Body slam, I slam. Slam, slam. Running like a locket on a E-machine. Don't know if this is good, it's just a good or bad dream. Running like I'm angry, running like I'm mad, running like a teenage bitch, ready for a body slam. Slam! Body slam, I slam! Body slam, I slam! Body slam, I slam! Slam, 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 slam! Listen, man, get off on me. You can be a body slammer. I'm in the groove, no groove for fighting. You can be a body slammer. Listen, man, get off on me. You can be a body slammer. I'm in the groove, no groove for fighting. Slam. Body slammer, slam. Body slammer, slam. Body slammer, slam. Slam, 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 slam. slam. Body Summerslam. Body Summerslam. Body Summerslam. Slam, 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 slam.
All right, welcome back. NGNWR, No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling Radio. As always, your excellent host, The Brand, here, talking about some wrestling, throwing some music at y'all. It's the week of SummerSlam, people. Second biggest WWE show of the year. And The Brand right now would like to talk some SummerSlam memories. We're gonna take a walk down memory lane. Yeah, I know, I'm here by myself, holding it down here on the show. The Brand, you know, it's nice to have a co-host, but let me tell you this, okay? The Brand doesn't need any co-hosts. I like to have guests, but you know what I mean? You know, the Brand can get it done either way. So here I am going to talk some SummerSlam memories. You know, I've the YN counts up pretty high already. I know, but anyway, SummerSlam. I probably think my earliest memory of it, to be honest with you, was probably SummerSlam '91. At least that's the first one I can remember ordering with the family at the house. There was, you know, that was the year with the match made in heaven and the match made in hell. Hogan and Warrior against Slaughter and Sheik and the other guy, General Adnan, or you know, and he was probably someone mentionable. I'll look that up here so I don't, you know, get ahead of myself in disrespect. But anyway, and then we had the marriage between Macho Man Randy Savage and Queen Elizabeth, which I believe they were already married for however long. You know, and this was just, you know, their kayfabe marriage done. I remember that show. One of the things that sticks out in my mind is the opening six-man tag team match. I remember Ricky Steamboat being in it, and they did a spot where, like, he got, like, dropped down on the rope with, like, a... You know, I don't know. It was like a face drop on the rope. I'm not sure exactly what they call it. I can't ring the name out in my head in the moment. But he dropped him down, and you know, like a tooth came out, or maybe it was gum, or you know what I mean. You don't really know what it was, but as kids, I remember me and my friends going like, "Oh, I think that was his wishbone or something came out." Whenever. I remember one of my little friends saying that. And then, like, we went outside to play for the majority of the pay-per-view, and then came back around main event time. It was a huge party. There was a bunch of kids there, I remember. Anywho, that's probably my earliest actual watching SummerSlam live memory. Of course, I used to own SummerSlam '90. This is back in the days, kids, before you had the WWE Network, before you had YouTube, before you had anything, you know, before you even had DVDs. You had VHS videos at the video store. And I've mentioned this a couple times on the show, yes. Those ancient relics that we call videotapes. I was fortunate enough to have a copy of SummerSlam '90, which in those days was hard to come by unless you ordered the pay-per-view or the replay and taped it on your own tape. the videos were very hard to come by. The video stores didn't really sell them generally unless it was going out of business or something like that. This is back before all the video stores, like they do now with DVDs. They have all the extra stock, and then they end up selling them. If you still have a Blockbuster in your town, you know what I'm talking about. You put all those old ones out. That just didn't happen. So the fact that I was able to obtain a copy of SummerSlam '90 and Royal Rumble '92, not we're not talking Royal Rumble, we're talking SummerSlam. I watched the SummerSlam '90 card. I don't know how many times in my life, more times than I can count, because when you want to watch wrestling, it was that was one of the best tapes I had, was that one. I remember the main event being Warrior, I believe, defending the belt against Rick Rude, the cage match. That's something that you just think, wow, those are two guys that they carried that big show. And it was actually, for all the smack that people talk about Warrior, it was another decent Warrior match, actually. If you go back in the annals and look at it, you look it up on the network, look up SummerSlam '90. It was a great match. Also on that card, you had, I believe it was, Mr. Perfect and Kerry Von Erich, which was actually pretty much a squash match, where Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, won the Intercontinental title. That was like one of the huge things that came out of that show, of course. Just months before, Kerry, committed suicide. So it's definitely an interesting card to go back on. SummerSlam '90 is one that I recommend, and that was a few years in. I believe the first card I want to say was '88, if I'm not mistaken. The first SummerSlam card was summer of '88, and of course just built from there. Those are the early ones I remember as a kid. Of course, you got to talk about '92. That was another one I used to rent from the video store all the time. It was Wembley Stadium, talking about having SummerSlam in stadiums. That's the only time it ever did happen, was SummerSlam '92. You had Wembley Stadium in England, jam-packed full of people to see the British Bulldog challenge Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title. And of course, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, comes out on top in what was a classic for the ages. Now I'm getting a little choked up here. Anyway, that was, other than that, though, the card was, probably not the most memorable, I would say, in the history of that. There was some other interesting things there, but not too much. '93 kind of took a little bit of a downturn. That was during the Lex Express era. That's actually another one I remember ordering. I believe we did order SummerSlam '93 and '94, and I believe even '95 we ordered. SummerSlam, we just always ended up getting that pay-per-view for some reason. That was back when there was only 4 a year for WWE. We would usually get Mania, though, and SummerSlam. Because it would be a whole summer. I would be, home from school, for the summer. And I guess probably looking back on it, there was just more time for me to watch wrestling and more time for me to bug my dad to order the pay-per-view, all summer long. SummerSlam's coming up, and it was always a good build. And we usually always ended up buying that one. I think we bought that all those years. '96 was another interesting year. It's one that sticks out in my mind as far as my personal memories go. But it's probably not talked about, probably not revered by a lot of people. You had the Shawn Michaels Vader title match, which was, more importantly, you had the Boiler Room Brawl with Mankind and Undertaker. It was, first of its kind. Definitely, it was a definite preview of where the WWF at the time was headed. Same thing with the next year, probably even more notable, I would say. You had SummerSlam '97, the big title change from Undertaker to Bret Hart. Started Bret Hart's final reign as WWF champion. Of course, Shawn Michaels was involved in the finish by hitting Taker, accidentally, allegedly with the chair. That was also the same pay-per-view where Steve Austin got his neck broke by Owen Hart, and ultimately shortened his career. Made it to where he had to retire. Not even 5-6 years later. So much stuff happened at SummerSlam. There's almost too much to even talk about, to even cover. If we're going there and we're talking about the history, like I said, I kind of want to keep this a little bit short here. Probably the biggest one, as far as my personal memories go, of course, would have to be SummerSlam '98. I would say arguably to this day, maybe the most important and biggest and maybe even the best SummerSlam that WWE has ever put on. Last week, me and Vito talked about the Attitude Era, and this was the height of it. You had a very huge build between The Undertaker and Steve Austin. They licensed Highway to Hell from AC/DC, and they played the hell out of that song for weeks and weeks. The video packages leading up to the show, and even the pre-show, and even during the pay-per-view, just getting every penny they could out of that licensing for that song, and it was just classic. The match was great. Don't think it was probably the best Undertaker Austin match, maybe. It was definitely up there, but it was definitely good for what it was, and it served its purpose as far as being a satisfying main event, because people were into it no matter what, just the idea of it. It was a big card overall. You also had Rock taking on Triple H, Intercontinental title ladder match. That was the first big ladder match post, the ones with Shawn Michaels and Razor. So they had some big shoes to fill there, and they did a great job with that. It was a big pay-per-view in the course of things, because this is right after WWE, WWF took over the ratings war. It was, they had, a few pay-per-views in between there, but this is, their first big build that they had was that SummerSlam '98 pay-per-view, which is, what really I think helped cement their status and kept their momentum going, so forth. So SummerSlam '98 is a big one. Sticks out in my mind. There's been, and since then, as far as I'm concerned, it's been hit or miss. I can actually point to SummerSlam 2001 of being one of the official times that I tuned out of wrestling, just because I was so disappointed with what happened with the invasion angle, and by SummerSlam I knew that there was just no salvaging it. and it was just horrible. I stopped watching for a while after that. Really got out of it. I was really during one of my out periods there, and you know, like a broken freaking record over here. Anyway, SummerSlam memories are great. That's really all that sticks out in my head as far as some of the best stuff. Last few years, cards been none or less, not too memorable. Last year, of course, Cena and Lesnar was pretty good. The year before that, Cena and Daniel Bryan was a great. Cena's main evented. Taking a look at it here, Cena's been in every main event at SummerSlam since 2006. So that's an interesting stat right there. 9-10 years in a row of Cena being in the title match or in the main event. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we've seen enough. We've seen enough of them. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here real quick and quit rambling about my SummerSlam memories. When I come back, I'm going to break down the NXT card, the Ring of Honor cards real quick, and then we'll see where we go from there. You're listening to NGNWR, No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling Radio, and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. The brand is live on NGNWR, No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling Radio, and we're talking huge Summerslam week. A lot of huge things going on, not just WWE SummerSlam, but also you got, as far as I'm concerned, the number 2 wrestling promotion in the United States of America right now, Ring of Honor. Got a couple of huge shows. I want to kind of just preview those real quick with you guys. Of course, Friday night, you got what they're dubbing, is just part of their Aftershock tour. Of course, in Philadelphia, the historic arena there in Philly, and looks like a great card. You got from bottom to top. Gosh, I mean, this is just huge. They got ACH Caprice Coleman down at the bottom. Got a 4-corner match with Adam Page, Will Ferrara, Takaki Watanabe, and then Moose is in the 4th corner. Now, there's a lot of New Japan guys here as part of the New Japan invasion. They're doing that as a part of both these shows, I do believe. So there's going to be some guys I might not be able to pronounce their name correctly, and I apologize if I'm not up to par on that. You also got the Kingdom taking on War Machine. Ring of Honor Tag Team Division is just awesome. Both of those teams could be the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions as far as I'm concerned, and it's just great. It makes the division so much deeper when the wins actually mean something from match to match, and that should be a good one. You got Elgin taking on Silas Young. You got Dalton Castle taking on Cedric Alexander. Dalton Castle is all over Ring of Honor TV. If anyone gets a chance to watch it, whether it's on Destination America or your local Sinclair affiliate, your local CBS channel, check it out, because there's a lot of great stuff on there. But gosh, they're pushing this Dalton Castle guy hard. I'm really not sure what to think of him yet. He seems to be over. At least with a lot of their crowds that they tape TV with, but man, he must be locked up on a good deal or something, because it seems like they're really pushing him hard on TV. You also got a 6-man tag, Kuzichika. Well, let me just say Okada. I think everybody knows him by Okada anyway. So Okada tags up with Roppongi Vice, which their entrance music just cracks me up. Roppongi Vice. Anyway, they're taking on the Briscoes and Haruki Goto. That should be interesting. Tag team titles on the line. The Addiction against the Young Bucks. For the record, I hate the Young Bucks. I can't stand them for a lot of reasons. I'll get into that on a later episode. I don't have time to rant about the Young Bucks right now. If you want to, you can email me about it. NGNWR at gmail.com. Anyway, any hoot. Then you also got Kushida taking on Matt Sydal, which is pretty up there on the card, it looks like. You got Adam Cole taking on Nakamura. Nakamura is one of those guys that there's a lot of talk about, and don't get me wrong, I think he's great. A lot of people sing his praises here in America. I just that's another guy. I won't get into it though. Just not. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great worker. I'm not a fan of like his facial expressions, and like just like the way I don't know, the way he presents himself is just like, I don't know, he just seems like really, really strange to me. Like I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just not a fan of how he presents his character, more or less, though, of what I've seen on on New Japan on Access. And then you have the ROH title match. You got Jay Lethal taking on Roderick Strong. Of course, they went to a 60-minute draw, I believe, the last time they officially hooked up. So that's a big part of the draw as far as that goes. Anyway, it looks like a great card. If you're there in Philly, I'm sure it's already sold out. So I don't even know. Actually, yeah, let's go. Let's try to buy some tickets and see if it's sold out yet, huh? I love that we have time to do this on the show. Anyway, looks like there might be something to go here. Let's take a look. Anyway, this is going to take too long. I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, we're going to get to night 2, which is Field of Honor. This is their big show that's running opposite of NXT TakeOver, which I wanted to get to, but I have no idea if I'm going to even have enough time on this damn show to cover it. But Field of Honor looking great too. Night 2, you got Gauntlet for the TV title. Wow, I don't even know how this is going to work. Got a lot of guys in there. You got an 8-man tag with Young Bucks, Seidel, and ACH against the Kingdom and RPG Vice. You got Adam Cole taking on Christopher Daniels in a singles match. You got a non-title match with Haruki Goto versus Elgin. You also got the Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr., also known as D.H. Smith to WWE fans, against Lance Archer. Teaming with his partner Lance Archer against War Machine. That should be an interesting match right there. You got Okada taking on Roderick Strong also in night 2. There at Field of Honor, you got Jay Lethal and teaming up with Nakamura against Red Dragon. Also, and then you also got the Briscoes taking on the Time Splitters. So that's an interesting card for the bigger show. You would think that they would have put the title matches and everything on the Field of Honor event, but maybe not though. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a big enough Ring of Honor fan to know what their strategy is as far as that goes. Even though I am a huge Ring of Honor fan, but we'll get that to another day. Anyway, also want to mention real quick, like I said, competing opposite that show, you have the NXT show. You have NXT TakeOver. NXT is going to be in front of their biggest crowd they've ever been in front of. At the Barclays Center, right there in Brooklyn in the heart of New York. And this is a huge card right here. You also got a women's match. You got Charlotte. Is this the right? Yeah, this has got to be the right. Okay, you got Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Emma, and Dana Brooke in a 4-way. You got Enzo and Big Cass. And the Hype Brothers, Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, taking on Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, Dash Wilder, and Scott Dawson. You got Eva Marie taking on Carmella. You got Apollo Crews taking on Ty Dillinger. Big debut for Apollo Crews, televised debut, at least anyway. Bold Dempsey taking on Elias Sampson. And this is another big one. You got Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin. Should be a pretty interesting match right there. Probably the talk of the whole thing as far as this show goes is, of course, Jushin Thunder Liger's debut in a WWE ring, which is definitely worth the price of admission in of itself. taking on Tyler Breeze. That's what I'm going to be watching for right there, fans. Definitely a historic moment. You got Bailey taking on Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's title. You got Blake and Murphy defending the NXT Tag Team titles against the Vaudevillians. And you also got Kevin Owens taking on Finn Balor. This is going to be an awesome card. Definitely going to be watching this on the network when I get my network subscription back. First thing there on Saturday. But, yeah, we're coming to a close here on NGNWR. You know, I wanted to take another music break, but I'm not even going to have time to do that. We're going to run down the SummerSlam card here real quick as I go off the air, and then we'll see you next week. A lot of you know, the SummerSlam card stacked. Kevin Owens taking on Cesaro. That's going to be your sleeper match of the night right there. Hopefully going to see those two guys break out into stardom. They really have a chance to show what they're all about. Definitely one of the big ones I'm looking forward to. You got the big 3-team Divas match, which I thought it was interesting that they threw this together. You got Team Bella taking on Team Bad, and then you got PCB, which is even more horrible stable name than they did have before. You know, you think that they pay people to write these names. Just unbelievable. Anyway, I won't get too much into that, but there you go. That's how they grouped all the divas to get a match together at the big show. You also got big return of Dolph Ziggler this week, and so they booked a match with him and Rusev. What their big angle, love story angle has been leading to between those two and Lana and Summer Rae and the lovely soap opera side of wrestling, which we all just love so much, I know. But that's also signed for the card. Then you also got Randy Orton and Sheamus. In other words, my bathroom break during the show. And time to go have a cigarette at some point. Because I hate them both. No, Orton's okay. But Sheamus, I don't know. And oh my gosh, we're live, people. And sometimes you sneeze, you know? It happens. It's all this dust in the studio. Damn it. Anyway, also you got the triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Ryback, Big Show, and Miz. I just wish they'd end this angle already, and I hope it does come to a close somehow. Someone getting some kind of definitive victory in this whole thing. Just ridiculous. This is the match where there's just like three guys that we don't know what we're doing with them. They're just there, and they're just they're just there taking up time. Basically, that's the whole thing. You got Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper against Ambrose and Reigns. Like I've said in the weeks leading up to this, I think there's been solid promos on both sides of this. Match-wise, should be interesting what they come up with. It's probably going to be a lot of brawling. And, if it's placed at the right point in the card, can definitely be one of the more memorable matches of the night, depending on how far they let him go. Of course, this is going 4 hours, folks, so there's a lot of matches. You also have the tag titles being defended in a 4-way match. The Primetime Players taking on New Day, the Matadors, and the Lucha Dragons. And hopefully, like I've been waiting for these last couple shows, hopefully this is where New Day takes the titles back finally. One can hope. Like I said, also you got, like I mentioned earlier, the tag match with with Stardust, and who's now dubbed also his partner Wade Barrett, now dubbed the or Bad News King Barrett or whatever. Now he's got yet another name, yet another alias. He is now dubbed the Cosmic King, at least in this feud here, while he's teaming with Stardust, taking on Neville and the actor Stephen, I guess his name's Amell. I thought his name was Arnell. Anyway, of the hit show Arrow. Yeah, he's teaming up with Neville. That's going to be exciting. Yeah. Any hoot, and then you got the two main events, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get very much bigger, of course, than Brock and Undertaker. I've been asked by my lead singer, Pat Reedy, my lead singer in Stone Tyler, like 3 times this week. He asked me, who's going to win? Is it going to be Brock or is it going to be Taker? Who you got? Is it going to be Brock or is it going to be Taker? And I told him the same thing all 3 times. I said, it's going to be Brock. Taker, him getting the victory doesn't really make any kind of sense. But then again, I don't really see a clean finish either. But if it's going to be a clean finish, it's got to be Brock's clean finish. This match, though, I think is gonna be a precursor to something even more important. That's one of the biggest reasons why I think people got to tune in, because whether it's Sting, whether it's The Rock, whatever the case may be, wherever they decide to go with it, I think this match is going to have some kind of implication and foreshadowing towards the future as far as next year's WrestleMania and so on. So there you go. There's that, and then of course you have the world title match. You have Cena challenging Rollins for the WWE Championship. Cena going for his 16th title reign, trying to tie Ric Flair, which I hope to God does not happen. Just in closing here, fans, while we're wrapping it up, this is going to be my last plea to the wrestling world out there. If John Cena does in fact win, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I think I might go into some kind of, seclusion for a while. The music means it's time to wrap it up. But, no, if Cena wins, I'm going into some kind of hiding. I'm rioting in my own house if Cena wins. Let's just say that. The old, if Cena wins, we riot deal. Yeah. I'm rioting in my own house if that happens, because it's just not right. I wish I had more time to rant on it. I don't know if we'll have this show. In fact, that if he does win, that'll be all of next week's shows. I will spend the whole hour about how I thought it was not a great decision for John Cena to tie Ric Flair's record at this stage of his career. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, and I hope it doesn't happen. The only saving grace is that maybe he won't ever beat it, but he will. And it's a hard realization for wrestling fans of all ages, of all decades. Cena is about to potentially trample this record. I hope it doesn't happen. Like I said, I think this SummerSlam has the potential to be set up for a lot of bigger things. Maybe Triple H is going to get involved because he doesn't want that to happen. That's where I'd go with it. Keep the title on Rollins a little bit longer. Professionally, I think it's what's best for business right now. I don't think anybody wants to see another John Cena title reign, and that's the moral of the story. Anyway, this is NGNWR. No gimmicks needed. Wrestling Radio. This is your host, The Brand. And I'm out of time, fans. I'll talk to you next week. Enjoy SummerSlam. And I'm out. I'll see you in the front row. See you then. Tune in next time. We'll see you. Peace.